We do believe this market is going to scale at a 60% annualized rate during the next 5 years. We have been saying this for quite some time, and one thing after another has derailed it. The aerospace companies have gross margins in the 15 to 20% range. They're much lower this year, of course, but normalized. And so they have every incentive now to accelerate the use case for 3D printing on their planes. And we think that's going to be one of the largest opportunities. We always look for new ideas during the Valley of Despair. And so you'll see we increased our exposure to 3D printing in the last year.
If someone told you there was a way to earn 60% returns a year,
is that something you might be interested in?
Of course, unless you hate money, you would say yes. 3D printing has been one of the hardest hit sectors by the virus, depressing prices just like many other industries. That means this could be the last chance at a low entry point into the space, as 3D printing has started to climb back and redeployed its competitive advantages during the emergency situation in not only the healthcare space, but many others, showing incredible promise and huge technological advances. The need for factories to manufacture on-demand materials and devices has set up a perfect environment of constrained supply chains, shortages of essential goods, and logistical challenges. Enter 3D printing. Here's why 3D printing was in the, quote, Valley of Despair.
And apparently it's a revolution. You can now buy 1969 Camaro parts that are essentially made in 3D printed. You can buy carburetors or things like that. This is what I am told. And so it's transformed that business, it seemed. But how is it changing industry? Is it really going to break through now?
Yes, it is. And you ask where it is. It's in the Valley of Despair. Many stocks are down 80 to 90% from their highs because their focus was on the consumer space and not on the industrial space. Aerospace, aerospace companies like Boeing and Airbus, their gross margins are in the 15 to 20% range. 3D printing, now that the FAA is approving it, 3D printing can cut those costs by up to 90%, as well as lower the weight and form factors of the various parts in engines and shrink the number of parts. So aerospace, we think, given the turmoil and trouble it's in right now, it is going to seek out even more aggressively some of these new technologies that are going to help it get back to profitability.
3D printing is a form of additive manufacturing. So traditional or subtractive manufacturing, you can think of as you have a big block of material and you shave away at it to create your part. 3D printing builds the part from the ground up in a layer by layer process. And when you do that, you get a lot of advantages. One of the biggest ones is you basically eliminate any constraints that you previously had on your design. So you can create parts that you could have never made with traditional manufacturing. And in doing that, you can actually now use AI to design the part. So you get these parts that a human could have never imagined, that could have never been produced before, but you can today with 3D printing. So this is really disruptive for the healthcare and aerospace markets. Any market where you have very complex, low volume parts. So for aerospace, you can often save weight in 3D printing, and a very small percentage savings in weight. So if you reduce the weight of a part by 5%, you could save 20% on fuel burn. So that makes a lot of difference to the margins of these aerospace companies. On the healthcare side, anything that's customized, basically you can scan a human body and print out an implant that's designed specifically for the patient. Previously, implants, you'd find whatever the closest fit was, you might actually have to shave away at the patient's bone to make it fit. So you're getting shorter operating times and better patient outcomes with this technology.
And to add to what Tasha said, a 3D printer essentially extrudes molten plastic through a tiny nozzle that it moves around very precisely, that is controlled by a computer. Molten is just a material that is liquefied by heat. It prints one layer, waits for it to dry, and then prints the next layer on top. The quality of plastic used and the quality of the printer will of course dramatically affect the final product. Interestingly enough, theoretically, you can print with more than just plastic. You can use any molten material that hardens quickly. A few years back, researchers in England unveiled a prototype food printer using molten chocolate. ARK believes 3D printing will revolutionize manufacturing, growing at an annual rate of 60% from $12 billion last year to $120 billion by 2025. 3D printing has applications for almost every sector you can think of: aerospace, engineering, healthcare, consumer goods, jewelry, education, energy, electronics, automotive, toys, and many, many more. Just in the past few months, 3D printing has helped with medical devices, mannequins, biomodels, face shields, respirators, face masks, filters, door openers, and much, much more to help the world fight the virus. Some public companies to remember are Stratasys, SSYS, 3D Systems, DDD, and Protolabs, PRLB. The good news for us investors is 3D printing is still in its infancy. To date, 3D printing has been driven by prototypes with a market potential of $12.5 billion. Phase 2 has been molds and tools with a market potential of $30 billion, and then the grail of 3D printing is end-use parts and final goods, which ARK values at $490 billion. ARK is heavily focused with 3D printing in the aerospace industry, as they've said autonomous technology and battery breakthroughs have led to aircraft volume designs scaling very quickly. 3D printing lowers the weight of low volume, highly complex parts, which saves a lot of money. ARK estimates that drone hardware revenues will total about $100 billion by 2025. A quick example would be the Hexer custom helmet insert. It's 60% more shock absorbent and significantly reduces rational forces to the head at impact. ARK Invest makes investing in this space incredibly easy with their 3D printing ETF, ticker PRNT. Here you have the top 10 holdings of the fund in case you want to take a closer look at some individual companies in the space. And listen to Cathie on one of the coolest applications in the infancy stages right now.
I just saw a report, Cathie, on 3D printed houses.
Yes, China's been fast forwarding on that one. Yes, absolutely. They're tiny, but they're happening, and they're very expensive. They're prototypical right now, but that gives you a sense of where this is going. It's going to be ubiquitous as we bring the costs down and as the technology becomes more sophisticated.
This Chinese company, Winsun, is using 4 printers to spray a mixture of cement and construction waste to build walls layer by layer. It was reported that the lack of manual labor means each house could be printed for under $5,000. This company is also hoping to build skyscrapers in the future, but for now, Chinese construction regulations do not allow multi-story 3D printed real estate. This is probably for the best. But that's all I have for you guys today. Please like the video if you did, consider subscribing for more investing content, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I hope that you have a great day.